classroom size just keep growing and growing every time I do it. But I'm basically going to be sharing my entire testimony from the start to where I'm at now. And growing up, I always went to HT. I went to school here, but I wasn't really too involved. I was just here, and we'd always go to church on Sundays, but I never really got much out of it. It was just something that we always had to do. But growing up, I always had a struggle. I just was never really a kid. Like, after second grade, my mom got diagnosed with cancer, and that's where I kind of felt like my childhood just kind of stopped. She tried to make it as normal as possible, but it wasn't ever normal. Growing up, I always felt like I was a little more like mature than the other kids because of the things that I was going home to every single night. And I just felt like I was different, and I didn't have anyone to talk to it with because nobody else understood. Like, you can't talk to a 5th grader and expect them to understand what it's like to have to help your mom take a bath every night. And I feel like that was just the biggest struggle with me because I didn't feel like I had anybody to talk to. And so growing up, I kind of learned to hide my feelings and to just put on a mask every single day instead of really understanding everything I was going through. I have always wanted to just like be like the perfect kid. All my siblings have just like, they've excelled in school, so I always felt like that was my focus, excelling in school and sports, and I always just kind of put God on the back burner. But I was going through so much at home that I never really had time to do the other things. And so I went to Steubenville my 8th grade summer, and I kind of just went because everybody else was going. It was kind of just like the fun thing to do. And so I decided to go, and I wasn't really sure what to expect going into it. I just knew there was going to be a lot of experiences there. There was going to be talkings, but I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't really experienced God that much in my life before, besides just kind of not knowing like what his plan was for me. And so I went to Steubenville with kind of just like a closed heart, but I wanted it to be open, but I just didn't really know how to open it. And so my first Steubenville experience was pretty plain. It was just like going through the motions, and then we had the big Steubenville night, whereas if you guys haven't been to Steubenville yet, it's where they have just this bigger adoration with a bunch of people our age in a gym, and they have the tabernacle that walks in, and they go around with the incense, which it's very cool. And I went to that, and I just had a lot of emotions that I've never felt before. I just felt like a lot of love and just like a warm feeling like inside of me. And I cried a lot that time, which was weird because I don't usually cry. I'm not a very emotional person, and I don't like to cry in front of people. So crying in front of a bunch of people like that I knew was kind of, I would never do. And so I just kind of felt a lot of emotions, and then we went to the football field after, and it shared our stories, and I was just really touched by everybody's story who was just like, they felt so much of the presence of God. I was like, I want to feel like that. Like, I felt him, but I didn't really know what exactly I was feeling. So I went out to Steubenville kind of on a high from everything, and I was just like so excited. I was so excited to like feel God, and I wanted to just like continue to feel him. But after the Steubenville high, slowly it started to like go down and down every single day. Like, I went back to school and everything, and I was still going to church, but the feeling that I had at Steubenville wasn't what I was feeling every single day. And then at the end of November, I was a freshman, and that's when my mom's health declined very rapidly. Once it spread to her bones, that's when we kind of all knew that it was over, and that was probably my biggest struggle with my faith. So at school and everything, I was just like this normal girl, like nobody knew, and because I didn't want anybody else to know. I didn't want anybody to think I was weak for having that home life. I didn't want anybody to think that my life was different or that I got the opportunities I got because of that. And I was getting thrown onto varsity as a freshman, which that in itself is a lot of stress, a lot of like nerves. So I was so focused on that I didn't want anybody else to see what I was going through at home. And so at the end of November, I would get home from basketball practice. For a while, I'd go to St. Cloud and go to the hospital to see my mom, which nobody knew. I would turn my location off on Snapchat, so nobody would know that I was going to the hospital every single night. Nobody knew that. And then eventually she got moved home and she got a bed, which is basically hospice, and she couldn't really do anything on her own anymore. So at school, I was just this normal girl, but when I would go home, I would have to help her walk around the house. I would have to clean the entire house just by myself, and I'm 14 years old doing all these things. And I'd have to help her with everything. Obviously, like my dad, and we had like the hospice nurses, all the friends, they would come too. But like seeing her in that state of mind was just like really toughening. And she, for anybody who didn't know her, she was just like a light. Like you walk into a room and she's there, it's just like bright. Like she just was like so beautiful, so amazing. And so seeing her like that really was painful. And I was kind of like thinking about my faith. I'm like, why would he do that to me? Like, she was amazing. There's a million like criminals out there who may have done worse things, and they're just like living the life, but she had to go through all the pain and all the suffering and put our entire family through all that pain and suffering too. And so I was just like really confused and everything, just seeing that. And then on December 4th after Mass, we watched it on YouTube just in our living room, she passed away. And that was just like really tough for me. Like, I had to like watch her take her last breath and everything, like hold her hand for the last time. And I was just so confused. I was like, why would he hurt me so much? Like, I didn't do anything to him. Like, I know I'm not like as in my faith, like maybe I miss a prayer or two sometimes, but I didn't think I deserved that, and I didn't know what his plan was for me. If he's gonna do that to somebody as nice as her, then what does he have in store for me? And so I was really hurt after that, and I just didn't really know what to do with my faith. I didn't even want to go to church on Sundays. Obviously, I still went, but going there just felt like a hassle. Like, why would I constantly put so much time and effort into him if he just gives up on me? I had so many prayers that I was praying, like, just let her live. Like, I need her here with me right now. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do without her. Like, I need her here, but he took her. And so I was just really confused. I didn't know what his plan was for me, and so I just wasn't even wanting to go to church, and especially not Steubenville. I'm like, I don't want to waste an entire weekend on somebody who gave up on me. Like, he doesn't love me anymore. But through convincing of Miss LaFlamme and a lot of friends, I decided to go. Me and my sister Katie both went, and it was the same thing. I went into that night where I was on the bus. I was like, okay, like whatever, like I'm just gonna have to get through this weekend. Like, I'm here, it's okay. And so I was there, and it was the first night, and I was like, okay, Sophie, you can either sit here and just be miserable the entire time, or you can open up your heart and see what he has in store for you. Like, I hadn't cried much, but when I wouldn't be like, why did you do this, God? Why did you take her? Why this? Why this? And so I'm like, maybe I'll get some answers. So the second night of Steubenville comes along, and I went into it having a lot of expectations. Like, maybe I'd see her, maybe I'd hear her, maybe I'd feel her. But all those expectations didn't happen. Something way better than that happened. And so I went into it, and my sister, I just started praying right away, immediately started crying again. But this time I'm like, I need to take my faith into my own hands. So I just immediately start praying. I'm like, Mom, like if you're here, I need you to hold me and Katie. Like, Katie's struggling, I'm struggling. I need you here. I need you to hold me. I need you to stroke my hair, which she always did, so she'd always play with my hair. And I just really needed her in that moment. So I'm just praying to her. I'm like praying to her, just like put your hand on my back, pray for me, like come be with me. And immediately Katie rests in the spirit. And so as soon as I see that, I just start praying even more, like so passionately, just like begging God to like show me and Katie that she's like okay, that she's doing okay. And I just needed that confirmation that like she's okay. Like, I wanted her to have the peace that she never got to have on earth. And so after that, I decided to like walk a little bit of ways. I saw Chloe Shield and who else? It was another person, Jenna. And I went and hugged them. I was just like, I was just so involved in that moment. And then I start praying again to just like, hold me, Mom, like hold me and Katie in your arms, stroke our hair, like put a hand on my back, like let me know it's okay. And then all of a sudden I just feel like a really warm hand on my back. And I'm like, whose hand is that warm right now? And I look, nobody's there. I'm feeling it, it's there, but nobody's there. I'm like, Mom, like I know you're here right now, but I need more than this. Like I need you to hold me. I need to know that you're okay. And all of a sudden I'm getting called out to the hall. And I'm like, I don't want to leave, like I'm feeling stuff, like she's not done yet. And Haley Capster is out in the hall, and if you guys know Haley, she's very sweet, but she's kind of shy and reserved. And I just like saw her, I was like, I've never talked to her that much in my life. Like before going into Steubenville, I saw her mom Becky, and Becky's daughter owns a flower shop it's out by like Hillman. And me and my mom, the last thing that we did before she passed was go to that flower shop, and we got some beautiful flowers, talked to Becky, and that memory just like kept coming in my mind. Like, why is that coming in my mind? I've never talked to Becky, I've never had any experience with her. And then I saw Haley, and it all kind of just clicked in my mind. Like, that's God telling me that Haley was sent to me right now. And Haley, as soon as me and Katie get to her, she's like, I need Sophie, I need Katie. She immediately hugs us, and she starts telling us, like, your mom's so proud of you, she's okay, she loves you guys so much, she's so proud of you, like, she loves you. And it was not the normal Haley that you see every day in school. It was a different type of like feeling and a different type of emotion that she was feeling. There was a few priests surrounded by Haley, And they were telling us, like, God is working through Haley right now to talk to you. Like, somebody up in heaven is trying to talk to you. And me and Katie both are like, it's our mom. Like, our mom passed away in December. Like, it's her. And the priests are just, like, shocked. Like, I've never seen a priest that shocked before. They were just like, that is insane. Like, that's amazing. And so I was just, like, really filled with that. And I was so excited. And I was just, like, getting that confirmation. I'm like, Mom, like, you're actually here. You're real. And Haley's just, like, constant. Like, she's so proud of you. She loves you guys so much. Like, she's doing okay. And I'm like, she's holding us, like, tight. Like, gripping me and Katie so tight. Like really, really, really hard. I'm like, wow, like, this is the sign. And eventually she calms down a little bit after me and Katie are with her for a while, and we walk her into the gym. I'm like, well, she never really stroked my hair like I said. As soon as I kind of thought that, she starts playing with my hair exactly how my mom used to. I'm like, wow, like, chills all over my body. This is insane. And so after that experience, we went down to the football field again, and I had the courage to share my testimony. And I didn't know it at the moment, but Ashley came up to me after, and she's like, Sophie, that was amazing. Like, you were glowing up there. You should share that more. Like, you could be a Steubenville talker. I'm like, oh yeah, but didn't really do anything about it. But look where I am now. And then after that, I was riding the high again, and I was just, like, really, like, full of God's love. Like, I knew my mom was okay, but eventually the high went down again. And I was excited for the next Steubenville experience because I was like, me and Katie are going to go again. We're going to feel it again. But it didn't work out. A bunch of things just kept coming up that we couldn't go. And so I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like, I kind of needed this, God, but I guess not. And then I was going to go to a tech retreat because I didn't go to Steubenville. That didn't work out too. And I was, like, struggling. And I'm like, God, like, you know I'm sad. Like, I was at another very low point in my life, but nobody knew it. I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. Where I was crying a lot more. But the crying that I was doing, it wasn't necessarily why anymore after Steubenville. It was just, I miss you. Like, I couldn't cry if I wanted to about, like, why did you do this to me? Because I had, like, an internal feeling of knowing why, but I just didn't have all the answers at that point. And so I went into the next, like, school year I started. I'm, like, sad again. I'm like, God, like, why didn't you let me go to tech? Why didn't you let me do this? Like, you know I'm struggling again. Like, it feels like you keep giving up on me. Like, there's something more that I need to do with my life, but I just don't know what, and I can't find it myself. And then I got the little notification that there's a confirmation retreat, and I knew I was getting confirmed, but I was like, they make us do a retreat, like, I don't really know why. Like, I know I'm getting confirmed, like, I know that I just, like, go to church and stuff. But I was like, okay, maybe there's a reason why I need to do a confirmation retreat before I'm, like, confirmed as an adult into the church. And so I was kind of excited to do that. I was feeling like a weight on my chest of, like, I just missed her, missed my mom again, and I just felt like I needed just, like, one more push. And then it was the Monday before it was, like, one of the days before maybe not Monday exactly, but my friend Alyssa Sedlowski, she goes to St. Ben's up in St. Joseph's, and she texted me and she's like, Soph, like, I was in the chapel down there, I had my worship playlist on, and Always Stay Humble and Kind is on it, but I have a million other songs, so that's, like, the first time I've ever heard it. I was praying for you and especially your family, just, like, praying for you, you've been heavy on my heart lately, and that song, Humble and Kind, came on. And if you didn't know, Humble and Kind was my mom's song. It was on our cancer shirts. That was, like, her quote, like, always stay humble and kind, give 110%, and just be nice to everybody. Like, you never know what somebody's going through, like, be kind. And she texted me that, I'm like, wow, like, this is amazing. Like, I need to go to church. Like, I wanted to just be with God at that moment. I'm like, wow, like, he knows that I've been struggling. He knows I needed this. And so going into this confirmation retreat, there was an adoration after, and Regan Winter shared her testimony, and I just had chills everywhere. And I was kind of thinking, like, I think I need to do that. Like, I think I need to tell my testimony too, like, how I've struggled. And then we're walking up to the church for adoration, and she was my small group leader, and I went to her, I'm like, I'm feeling it right now. I've never felt this before adoration. I already know adoration is going to be changing for me. And immediately before I even start, tears in my eyes, but not bawling, but just tears rolling down my cheeks. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is amazing. And I start praying again. I'm like, Mom, like, I'm struggling again. I need you. Like, I need one final, like, knowing that you're okay. Please come down, put your hands on me. Like, please let me know that I'm going to be okay. And all of a sudden I feel, as soon as I, like, think that in my mind, as soon as I pray that, I feel two hands go on my back. One is Miss LaFlamme and one is Avery Gruber. And immediately I'm like, okay, she's here again, like, she's here. And then I start to hear her voice, which I hadn't heard her voice in 1.5 years, and hearing that voice was just, like, amazing. And she's like, Sophie, you know I can't be here with you right now, but there's so many people around you that just love you so much, and I'm working through them to show you love. There's so many people who love you and care for you. You have such an amazing group of girls. Like, cherish that. I can't be here with you, but there's people down here who love you just as much as I do. I'm working through them. You need to work through them too. And I was just like amazed by that. As soon as I heard her voice, she's like, I'm proud of you, I love you, but I can't be there with you. And that was kind of just life-changing for me. Like, it was just like amazing. And I just start praying, and I'm like, Mom, I know you're strongly here, but there's a girl in front of me who was also resting in the Spirit. I'm like, she's seen you before, so if you're really here and really strong, she'll see you. As soon as I say that, she gets up. Where's Sophie? Where's Sophie? I'm right behind her. I'm like, I'm right here. She's like, she's here. She's here. Your mom is here. She's here. And I'm like, wow, like, she's here right now. She's loving me through other people. She's showing me her love through other people. And adoration is the only place where I've ever felt that closest to God. And my mom. It's not at the cemetery. It's not like in her room or anything. It's always at adoration, because adoration is one of the closest things you can get to heaven. And the joy I've felt after every single adoration, just knowing that that's like a little pint size of what you feel when you're in heaven, is crazy. And I just feel like now, I just feel like a completely different person after just that one adoration experience. And I didn't experience that my first time, but I went again and I experienced that. And then after that night, I just was like so overcome with joy, like big smile on my face. Like, the next day I was even smiling. Everybody's like, did you have like a bunch of caffeine today? Like, you're just like glowing. I'm like, no, I just had a crazy experience last night. And then after that, I texted Julie. I'm like, I think I need to share my testimony. And she shared something with me that really kind of made sense. She's like, Sophie, I know you don't know like why everything happened, but maybe there's a reason why your mom passed. You could share the testimony that you have with other people to inspire them. And so after each adoration, I start to get a little more of an understanding of God's plan for me, why he did what he did. And I don't know it all now, but just like knowing that he had a plan for me and he's showing it now, it's just amazing. Like, adoration is the only thing that has ever helped me. Like, not talking to friends, no therapy has helped me. It's God. It's adoration every single time. And to just be able to have that next door is just an amazing experience, and it's just an amazing resource to have. And I've genuinely been way happier now after experiencing that experience than I ever have. It's the only thing that's really made me understand. And I just wanted to share it with everybody. I just want everybody to know, I want everybody to know that there's a plan for you, no matter what silent battle you have. If you talk to God about it, he'll help you, because he's the only one who knows your entire plan. Nobody else does, not even yourself. So that's my testimony.